All right, so we should be live right now, but while I check my YouTube channel, make sure everything's running smoothly. Can we give yourself like a little brief introduction, kind of tell people what you do and all that stuff?
Yeah, my name is Jelani Floyd. I'm a licensed attorney and NBA agent, and I'm the co-founder of Beyond Athlete Management, a full-service sports and entertainment agency.
Yeah. So I guess I feel like this is a really basic one, but what I like about it is that like it's different for everybody. Everybody has a different story. Like, how did you get involved and in the whole sports business and just trying to make this agent dream a reality?
I think for me, I don't think I set out to be an agent. I think it was just a natural progression for me, being a high academic scholar throughout. Being a basketball player, played in high school, played Division I basketball, Nike, AAU circuit basketball, and then it just came down to relationships and being involved in the business. The most important thing is having legitimate friendships and relationships. And so, just knowing the entire ecosystem of this game and what it brings and the fruits of the labor, just being able to add value that way. And that's how I became an agent.
Yeah, so it seems like it almost kind of came naturally. And actually, like, I met someone too. Then he's like, "Yeah, I'm hoping to be an agent one day." And he's older than me, so I guess he'll kind of get that thing first if I end up becoming an agent as well. But he'll have to probably get it first since he's older and everything. And he kind of said like, "Yeah, I've never found anybody that could kind of show me the ropes of how it works." Like, I'm assuming that like most people, I'm just gonna kind of go through and just learn the motions that way. Is that kind of how it worked with you? Like, did you just kind of do it and kind of have to teach yourself like what it's like, or do you maybe have someone kind of showing you like this is what it's like, being an agent and mentoring you and all that stuff?
Well, I think you have to study. I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in my law school degree, learning contracts, you know, like learning various things and adding value. But yeah, I think like, you sit in rooms and you see, but you have to do a lot of reading. You have to do a lot of studying. I think, some like people may think being an agent is easy, but you have to know your contracts. You have to study the salary cap. You have to understand, players. You have to understand relationships. You have to understand what the NBA is looking for. It's a wide skill set, but I think some of it I learned playing. So, for instance, I think you have to know how to use synergy, right? And being able to cut up video, and so you have to have some photo and video editing skills to be able to get guys highlights. And so doing things like that is important, but then also understanding the numbers and what guys got paid and what numbers they average and what the league is looking for. So some of that stuff is very important too.
Yeah, and I'm not like too well on this topic, but isn't it where like you're not required to get a law degree anymore to be an agent? Isn't that the case?
Yeah, you don't even need a college degree to be an agent.
Yeah.
Um,
So obviously, like, you took education seriously. Like you said, invested a lot of money to get a law degree and everything. So I want to know, like, even though it's not really required anymore, why did you choose to do all that?
because I want to be sharp. I mean, you dealing in contracts, and like I really am like a Swiss Army knife in that sense. Like, some agents walk around looking cool, but they not really doing deals. They not really doing contracts. They don't understand contracts. They can't really negotiate. I'm sure you see it. A lot of players and their agents lack of competence, signing very team friendly deals, doing deals just to get things over with. So, for me, it's always I want to know and be as knowledgeable as I can. And education never stops. You have to always keep learning and being open to different things.
Yeah, and I'm a junior in high school, so I guess we say I got like a couple more years left until I kind of have to go to college and everything. But I think like isn't it like a law degree is just like a general law degree? Like you don't get like a sports agent law degree specifically, right? Like it's just general.
Yeah, I mean, you can. So I specialized in business transactions at my law school. So you can pick certain courses and take a lot of courses. But yeah, you're basically first year and a half is just like the basic general courses, and that's U.S. constitutional law, torts, civil procedure, legal writing one. It's things like that where trusts and estates. That's kind of like the you learn the big picture, but then in your later years in law school, you can really start to pick like the elective courses, which you tend to may want to go a little bit deeper in and learn that way.
Okay, so that's kind of like in the beginning it's more general, and then as you kind of continue on with school, you start to kind of understand like, oh, okay, I see how this relates now to what I want to do and everything, and that's kind of how it works.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you talk about, I guess, like negotiating contracts and all that stuff. Like, how does it all work? Doing like the things that are literally a sports agent. Like, take us through not in general what you do, more like specifically, like what do you have to do for your players and all that stuff.
Really, it's a lot that you have to do, for a player. For instance, it could be something as simple as, making sure that they home situation is okay and helping them interview, financial advisors, helping them establish their diet, helping them establish their travel, helping them establish a budget, simple budget, speaking with them, helping them to understand the NBA salary cap and understand high value shots, low value shots, and what they should be working on in their body, helping them to understand mental health and those things, and really taking those things really seriously. So it's a lot of different things. No one day is the same, and that's, I think, that's the cool thing about this business.
Yeah, and that does seem like super specific. Like that was. I mean, it's almost like you're their brain, or like you kind of have to figure out like not even just stuff in terms of like contracts and money, but in terms of, because everything really affects at the end of the day. If you're, let's say, sleeping on a really uncomfortable mattress, like you got to find them a good mattress because then it turns to bad sleep, bad performance on the court. So you really got to deal with a lot of other aspects. How many players do you handle specifically? Because I'm seems like a lot if you have like 100 players, something like that, to manage that for a lot of people. Like how many clients do you have?
Yeah, I mean, so I personally have a handful of clients, but our agency is growing. We're one of the fastest growing agencies in the business. I think we're intriguing because we're a modern agency and we're built for the modern athlete. And so what you're getting with us is not just typically one agent. You're getting me and my co-founder and our associate agents. We're building a family. We're building a community. So, a lot of time people are like represented by, they say, oh, I got X amount of players, but they don't talk to those players. They don't have weekly conversations with their players. We do that throughout our company. We have, weekly meetings and check-ins with all of our clients, top to bottom, whether I'm helping out my partner who is a lead agent on a client, or he's helping me out, and all sort of deals. So we really, take the approach to, a lot of people want to know, oh, how many players, you represent. That's not always a good thing. It's quality over quantity.
We see that in the Jerry Maguire movie.
Yeah. I mean, and it's true. Like I would rather represent one guy to the best of my ability than to represent 100 guys in a shitty way, just to say, oh, I represent 100 clients, but you're doing a shitty job.
Yeah. And you said, so I guess you've really you've built like your own sports agency almost. Like, how does that work? And I actually, I want to know, like, in terms of maybe your salary, not like how much you make, but is it more like, however much like your clients do that kind of affects you, or is it more like everyone's kind of brings in all their stuff together and then you just split it up evenly?
Yeah, I mean, well, so I'm a co-founder, I'm an owner in the business, so it's a little bit different than being an employee. So, we have to, me and my other 3 co-founders, we literally run the business and, have to, 1, seek outside financing and raise money. 2, then allocate our expenses and hire people, independent contractors, various different people that can help with graphics and all of these other things that go with being a modern athlete and investing in that athlete. And I would say like the standard revenue is always generated from the athlete, right? 4% of their NBA contract, 3% of their NFL contract. Standard, is 20% on the marketing, and then whatever deals and other things that we can bring along the way. That's how the revenue is generated, but it takes some time with that. So you have to have, your investment, and obviously some of the expenses is, our cost of living, what we need to live and survive. But that's one of the unique things about Beyond is we all hungry. We all putting everything into this business, making relationships, making time, and really developing and building from there.
And building up your own agency, like take us through the process of that, and how you're able to build your own firm and everything.
Well, really, I just didn't want to, me and my co-founders, we've been in the business from former players to agents. We have over 50 years of expertise in player representation. We're a collective, basically, of independent agents who came together and said, this system needs to be changed. And that's really all it was. And we had conversations where we like, hey, we got money and resources to invest in our players. And two, we had a relationships. We can actually get to players and have conversations with them and build from there. And so that's what we were doing. And we didn't want to be a part of, anything else that didn't align with our values morally. These players aren't just products, right? Like we treat them as family, as young business people that they are, and so that they can grow and build their community.
Yeah, and I'm assuming all the clients that you guys have now aren't just your childhood friends that you probably maybe grew up playing sports with them and then making it. Like I'm sure you kind of got other guys too that you didn't really grow up with or anything. If that is the case, how are you able to get clients that you really don't have a good personal connection with, that you really have to build over time and kind of make them know I'm not just using you as a client, I want to have a genuine relationship with you?
I think, it all speaks in the work. It speaks into the work and the expertise, so when we get to guys, it's like at the end of the day, when I sit across a guy, I'm highly educated, highly experienced. I can understand, I can relate, and same with my partners. And that's immense value. And we add value to those guys, and the way we approach work, the attention that they receive, the amount of time that we put into not only just investing in them, but then investing in their brand and in their future. And so those are the biggest things. And I think, people just, outside of getting your initial start and how you grow, relationships, it is a business. And so we've landed a majority of our guys through being great at what we do, and them recognizing hey, Beyond Athlete Management is a great agency that's going to represent us, and they're empowering us. They understand our values, and our values align, and it's something mutually beneficial to be transformational and not transactional.
Yeah, and I kind of want to talk about that initial start. Your first client. How are you really able to get the ball rolling and starting to make yourself a well-respected sports agent?
A lot of that just goes into putting in the work, making sure your client knows. With my first client, knowing and saying, hey, look, I say I'm going to call all 30 teams, to go to notes for all 30 calls who I spoke with. And then from there, your trust just goes, and you build, and, your client will give you more. Hey, what do you think about my shot? Oh, it's perfect. All right. And just building and trying to help and add value.
Yeah, you said I'm going to call all 30 teams and everything. I'm assuming you're referring the 30 NBA teams, but even how are you able to get those, I guess, contacts, to even do something like that, where you're contacting people in the NBA and everything like that?
It's once you become certified, you have access through the NBPA, portal, a database of all the team and references and contacts. So they give that to you.
So when you become a certified agent, they just give you a bunch of, because for me, I feel every number I have on my phone that's not a friend of mine, I have to work hard to get that number. I don't have any NBA numbers, but I'm saying, high school players or, college coaches, something like that. I've had to work for that number. I have to be in the right place at the right time to get that number. But you're saying like once you become like a certified agent, there's like here's all this database stuff you could use to your advantage, and that's kind of how it works.
Yeah, I mean, there's a database of phone numbers and people that you need to reach out to, and it may not be the decision makers, but that's on you to kind of figure out from there. But they are mandated to, give us at team informations and contact numbers. Now, I had some of from being around the game and going to NBA Summer League in Vegas, and meeting different people and networking. I built some relationships, but for young people out there, know that the NBPA, they ultimately want you to best represent their players, so they're going to give you everything you need to do the best job you can for their players.
And you said you went to the NBA Summer League. Like, I don't know if I was to play or just to watch, but you said you're playing on those major AAU circuits and everything. How did kind of being an athlete and being around like those players help you get to where you are today?
I mean, the biggest thing is like they know I'm one of them, but I can relate. I can understand the grind, the struggle, what's going on, what they dealing with, but then also taking things to another level, what I do business wise and community wise and what I represent in my law degree and the knowledge that I have, it gives them more comfortability, and they ultimately want to do deals and do business with me. And so it's pretty easy because I'm just myself, being an agent, you get a that's an agent, he's slimy. And it's like, that's not me. Like I got into the business to really help and empower. And the second is not about that, I'm not doing this anymore. So I'm not doing this for me. I'm not doing this to be around basketball players. It's like, I enjoy the business of basketball. I legitimately do. And I enjoy, helping athletes build better communities, build stronger families, create generational wealth. Like I'm passionate about that. And so being an agent is something I do, but it's not who I am. It's really like just my job title. Like, you wouldn't, necessarily think anything of someone, it's just a reputation thing. And this industry is slimy. I get it. A lot of players have been underrepresented by agents and stolen from, manipulating. And so we trying to change that. And that's what we're focused on.
Yeah. And you said, how kind of like I guess, a slimy industry. Like I even like to myself, like, I didn't think you were doing anything wrong, but I kind of have that like a second guess, like just to make sure, like, if anything happened, like I guess you say I was looking to keep like a heads up, I'm talking to an agent or something like that, because I've been told things like, these people sometimes are trying to do this, trying to do that, and for me, like you said, how you kind of understand athletes, I guess you say a little more than I do. Like I can't really play basketball that well. Like I've always been around like the basketball team at my school and everything, but I'm not literally on the team playing and doing sprints and everything. Like I'm there watching. Glad I'm not doing it, but I can't like that stuff, I guess you could say. So what would be maybe your advice to me if I'm trying to pitch to a guy to for me to sign him and let me be his agent when I'm not like an athlete like them?
I would say the biggest thing is being authentic and being yourself. Two of my partners never played basketball. I think you got, a great platform right now, and you building a brand. And that's what you can sit across from a guy and say, hey, I may have never played, but since I've been in high school, I've been interviewing people. I've been setting up videos. I've been helping kids go to college. My platform is a platform to empower, to get you exposure. I've sent X amount of kids on, to college via scholarships through my platform, through my relationship with coaches. And I know the game. I watch ball. I love ball. Yeah, I may can't play, but I know the game. I know the business. And talk about brand building. Look what I've done with my platform. And how did you think I got across from you? And it's all having a plan. So, I think for you, obviously with everything going on in Florida and everything, the talent level, all of that, just continue to make big relationships and genuine relationships and add value to guys. And one day when it's your turn and when you're of age, people are going to say, hey, and you're going to know when you're ready, because it's a lot at stake. It's not a game, man. It's really not. It's people livelihoods and their career and their money, their family, like their identities. All of this stuff is tied up into this. So, you know, when you're ready, you'll know and you'll get a sense. But I say keep doing what you're doing. Don't worry about not playing. You know, keep building your brand, keep building your business, reaching out to speak and interview with as many agents and players and people as you can. And just always come from an approach to add value. And I think you'll be okay in the long term.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I guess just one final question, like going off that, is my one thing too, because you know it is important to be genuine. That's what you want to do. And as I have these players, obviously I have no agency where I could say, hey, sign with me. Like, I'm sure the majority of the guys don't even know. Like, that's one of like my future goals with this. Like, they may think, oh, he's trying to be on ESPN. Like, no, like I'm trying to network with as many people as possible to hopefully be an agent or coach or something like that. But it's like, you know, how do you know, like, even though it's genuine and like I love all the players I talk to, like I would love to be their friends, but it's also like too, you know, like I want to represent you. Like, you know, I see like business we could have that could really help us in our futures, not in terms of a friendship, in terms of, you know, a business partnership kind of thing. How do you kind of make that seem genuine in a way? Because it's like every guy, you know, I'd love to be their friend, but then too, it's like, you know, I also want to be their agent, which is more the business, not as genuine side of things.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a, you know, emergence of both those worlds coming together. I think a lot of players rather do business with family, with friends, with people that genuinely care outside of that contract, that care about the long term and well-being. And I would say that that's your message. You know, that's, hey, I want to be an agent, and like I got your best interest at heart because I actually care about you. We have a relationship that's transformational and not transactional. Like, we hang out, we kick it. Some of the best businesses in America are family run businesses, right? You know, like, because it's family, because you got to have each other's back, and it got to be bigger than just they last game. And so I think your approach is just that, like, hey man, as you coming up and you learning in the business, I'm here to empower you. I got a media platform. But start being open, start sharing your goals too. Like, and hey man, when you make it, like, I want to represent you. I want to be a part of your journey. Like, I want to grow in this business, grow in this profession too, because at my peak, I'm going to be one of the best agents ever. And at your peak, you're going to be an NBA All-Star. So guys and it's like, hey, let's grow together. And I think that model is out there, and it can be done.
Yeah, for sure. And I really do think that's kind of the coolest thing. And I guess you could say that's like a goal of mine, at least now, because I know if I could find some athlete, you know, and that athlete grows because I'm helping them grow, like, you know, that I feel like that's like the recipe for success is find someone that's not that big and you're slightly bigger than you make them, you know, this huge thing. And then because they're famous and, you know, you are on the rise as well. And I feel like that's really key to success. But anyways, man, I guess before we kind of end this thing, is there any kind of like final advice you'd have for future agents and stuff like that?
I would just say, stay focused. It's a tough job. Get used to being told no or being ignored or people not following up. I would say study the salary cap, watch as many videos as you can, learn the business, and make as many relationships. I mean, you know, even for you, whatever college you do go to a blue blood program, man. Go to a big time basketball program and be.
I'm actually, well, no, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I actually heard like bad things about like going to those programs actually in terms of building connections. Because I guess people's philosophy. Because I've spoken to people that are like, you know, managers at their schools and everything, and they've kind of said like the bigger the program, like if I go to Duke or Kentucky or like Kansas, like it's gonna be extremely hard to get a position to be a manager or something like that, because there's so many kids that grow up like want like that was their dream like all their lives, like, you know, their dad went to Kansas, mom like something like that. So it's like difficult. But then if you go like a super small school, which I'm probably go like a little mix, but it's like you go to super small schoolers, it's not as big of a base, like it'll be easier to get opportunities and build relationships. And that's kind of what I've heard from that perspective.
Yeah. I mean, my perspective is like, hey, that's the competition though. Like, if you can't go grab it at the best, like, what makes you think you're going to grab it at this? So it's like, it's really a mindset, and I think it's going to happen. But a lot of people want to know how to get into the business. You got to be around, you got to serve. And like, hey, guess what? You may not get that manager job your first year, not even your second year, maybe not even your third year, but your fourth year, your grad year, opportunities come if you stay committed and stay focused. And so, we live in an instantaneous society, but this is a slow build. And so I would say to, people that want to be sports agents, go, go to these programs, do whatever it takes, learn, be a high academic. Hey, maybe you're not a manager, maybe you the tutor for the guys on the team, right?
Yeah, I'm not that smart. I don't know if I could do that, but
yeah, but it's always ways. So maybe you can go to the guys and you see the guy, hey, bro, let me help you with your website. Let me help you grow your Instagram. So it's really about access and being around. And I would say the biggest thing is just always knowing that this is a position of service. Like, you have to serve. This ain't about you. It's not glamorous. It's a tough, hard job. And you're going to be in this business for 10 years before you pop, before you get this super high level mega superstar guy. Like, it doesn't happen. The best player in the NBA right now been in the NBA for 18, 19 years. So that means that all of his people been in the business for 18, 19 years. So you start to see what can happen in year 15, in year 16, in year 17, 18, 19, and etc. So those are the things that I think it's a slow build. It's a slow build. This is not instant success. Really hard, a lot of traveling. But I love serving. I love adding value. I love helping, young athletes reach their goals.
And definitely. Well, anyways, really grateful for your time. Means a lot, letting me talk to you. Hopefully, we could build a relationship. I mean, you never know where it could really take anybody at this point. But yeah, make sure you guys give us a follow on Instagram at Jelani Floyd. No dots, no underscores, no periods, no nothing. Just Jelani Floyd. And then the brand is at beyond.am, beyond.am, however you want to call it. And I'm at iHoopsFL. And anyways, yeah, for sports agent Jelani Floyd, I'm Isaac Fleischer. This has been another iHoopsFL interview. Peace out, guys.
Thank you.